Bgmc. The biblical truth lives here.
The ancient Hebrew scriptures foretold of the Anointed One, Yeshua HaMashiach. The Messiah Yeshua came to call the people back to the truth of His word and to follow that righteous path. Yeshua then called Jewish men to be His disciples, and after His death and resurrection, those Jewish men told the world about the Jewish Messiah. Now, after 2,000 years, Beth Goyim Messianic Congregation has that same calling of those Jewish men, telling all people, both Jew and Gentile, about the proper ancient path, teaching the Route 66 King's Highway from Genesis through to Revelation, and how you need and can get back to the proper roots of the faith and a closer walk with God. Now, let's hear the message.
Let's go get a blessing. Turn to the book of Galatians.
Vamos en búsqueda de una bendición. Vamos al libro de Gálatas.
Do you know how to speak Spanish?
I forgot already.
All right, we're going to be starting our study on the letter to the Galatians.
Vamos a comenzar nuestros estudios en la carta a los Gálatas.
Okay, so get ready to take a lot of notes.
Prepárense para tomar muchas notas.
Okay, so get your papers ready. This is Bible study.
Mantengan sus papeles listos y esto es el estudio bíblico.
And I expect that there will be a lot of questions.
Y yo espero y estoy en las expectativas de que van a haber muchas preguntas.
All right, going on to the next slide, slide number 2.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva, número 2.
This is called a real biblical study of Galatians.
Esto se llama un estudio bíblico real sobre los Gálatas.
Because a lot of people don't know what the Bible says.
Porque muchas personas no saben lo que dice la Biblia.
And a lot of people are followers of Paul instead of the followers of Yeshua the Messiah.
Porque muchas personas son seguidores de Pablo en vez de ser seguidores de Yeshua el Mesías.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
The first thing what we're going to do is we're going to get a timeline.
Lo primero que vamos a hacer es que vamos a tener una línea de tiempo.
Because you got to understand when Rav Sha'ul, that's Paul's real Hebrew name is Sha'ul, was writing this.
Porque debes de entender cuando Rab Sha'ul, el rabino Sha'ul, o Pablo, porque Sha'ul es su nombre hebreo, y cuando él escribió esto.
Like, you know, did he just get saved? What did he write Romans first? What went on?
¿Fue el salvo o él simplemente escribió a los romanos o qué fue lo que sucedió allí?
And this is vitally important to his single letter to the Galatians.
Y esto es vitalmente importante para su única carta a los Gálatas.
What we're going to discover once we're done with this entire study,
Entonces vamos a hacer una discusión en cuanto a este estudio.
it is one letter.
Esto es solo una carta.
You can really actually read the entire letter like within an hour.
En realidad tú puedes leer la carta dentro de un lapso de tiempo de una hora.
And what you're going to discover is that there's really one subject matter.
Y lo que vas a descubrir es que simplemente hay un solo un tema, un objetivo dentro de esta carta.
Like when you read the book of Romans, you know that it's got a bunch of different letters in the book.
Cuando lees el libro de los Romanos te vas a dar cuenta de que hay diferentes temas dentro de este libro.
So let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
There I did some research,
Yo hice mi búsqueda, mi investigación.
and there you see a chart,
Aquí ves un chart,
graph, diagram.
un diagrama.
Okay? So for me, this helps me put things into perspective.
Para mí esto hace que yo ponga esto dentro de la perspectiva.
Because once you understand the timeline, you can better understand what is being written.
Porque una vez que entiendes el tiempo, la línea de tiempo, puedes entender mejor.
Galatians, the letter to the Galatians was written sometime around 49 to 55 AD.
la carta a los Gálatas fue escrita dentro de un lapso de tiempo desde el 49 a 55
Most
AD.
most people put it at the year 49.
La mayoría de las personas ponen el número, el año 49.
Okay. Then you have First Thessalonians,
Y entonces allí luego tienes Primera de Tesalonicenses,
which was written somewhere between 51 and 22 AD.
que fue escrita en un tiempo entre 51 y 22 AD.
No, that would be wrong. The 22 is wrong. I don't know why they got
Okay.
there. Second Thessalonians is also written in 51.
La segunda carta a los segunda Tesalonicenses también fue escrita en el año 51 antes AD.
Corinthians, First Corinthians is written in 55.
Primera de Corintios fue escrito en el 55
And Second Corinthians is written in 56.
y segunda de Corintios fue escrito en el 56.
So you're noticing that his first writing was to the Galatians.
Y te das cuenta aquí que su primer escrito fue hacia los Gálatas.
That's why when you read, let's say, Romans,
Por esto es que, digamos, cuando lees los Romanos,
Romans was written in 57 to 58.
los Romanos fue escrito en los 57 y 58.
You see a different style in Sha'ul's writings.
Ves un patrón diferente en las escrituras, en lo que Rab Sha'ul escribió.
You see him growing as a follower of Yeshua.
Te das cuenta que hay un crecimiento en él como seguidor de Yeshua.
Because if you compare Galatians to Romans, there's really no comparison.
Porque si comparas a Gálatas con los romanos, te vas a dar cuenta que no hay una comparación entre ellos.
And then we have Ephesians, was written in 60 to 61.
Tenemos Efesios, que fue escrito en el 60-61.
Philippians, Colossians, and Philemon were also written in 61.
Filipenses, Colosenses y Filemón fueron escritos en el 61 también.
Okay, Titus was written 62 to 67.
El Titos fue escrito en el 62 y el 67.
Timothy was written in 63 to 66.
Primera de Timoteo fue escrita entre el 63 y 67.
And Second Timothy was written in 67.
Y segunda de Timoteo fue escrita en el 67.
So you see, Rav Shaul starts off slow.
Te das cuenta de que Rab Sha'ul comenzó despacio.
He is growing as a leader.
Él está creciendo como un líder.
Because remember, once he became a messianic follower,
Porque recuerda de que cuando él empezó a ser un seguidor mesiánico,
okay, let's also get terminology straight. He's not a Christian.
y vamos a tener la terminología, vamos a poner esto en su lugar,
Because
él no es un cristiano.
Okay, Jews don't become Christians.
Los judíos no se hacen cristianos.
They become completed.
Ellos se hacen un judío completo.
It is the Gentile that becomes a messianic Jew.
Estos son los gentiles que se hacen un judío mesiánico.
Because you get engrafted into the Hebrew olive tree.
Porque eres injertado en el árbol de olivos.
So Galatians is actually his first writing to a baby messianic congregation, not church.
Entonces, Gálatas, vemos que es un libro escrito a una congregación mesiánica que es bebé en conocimiento. Es recién nacida en conocimiento.
Okay, let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Now, it's also very important
Ahora también es bien importante
to know where he's writing it from, where Sha'ul is writing the letter from. Where is he living?
de dónde es que él está escribiendo esto, de dónde es que él está viviendo, de dónde fue que él escribió esto.
Because that's going to help you understand his outlook on life.
Porque esto te va a dar un mejor entendimiento cómo ve la situación.
Okay? So, when he wrote Thessalonians,
Cuando él escribió Tesalonicenses,
he was living in Corinth.
él estaba viviendo en Corín.
Okay? Now remember, Corinth is a very large city.
Ahora recuerden que Corintios es Corinto es una ciudad bien grande.
And that's going to also give impressions on your writing.
Y esto también va a dar impresión a lo que escribiste.
Because you can't live in an area and not have it affect you.
Porque no puedes vivir en una área que no te va a afectar.
Okay, you can try all you want, but your surroundings are going to affect how you look at things.
Tú puedes tratar todo lo que quieras, pero esto va a cambiar, va a afectar tu modo de cómo tú ves las cosas.
Because if you're prosperous,
Porque si eres próspero,
then you're not going to be worrying about getting food, right?
entonces tú no te vas a preocupar por conseguir comida o alimentos.
Then you become more liberal.
Entonces así te haces también un poco más liberal.
When you're worried about food and safety,
Cuando estás preocupado por alimentos y refugio,
you tend not to be as liberal with your walk with God.
tú no tiendes a ser muy liberal en tu caminar con Jehová.
Okay? So, Thessalonians, he was living in Corinth.
En Tesalonicenses él estaba viviendo en Corinto.
When he wrote 1 Corinthians,
Cuando él escribió Primera de Corintios,
he was living in Ephesus.
él estaba viviendo en Éfeso.
Like I said, you need a lot of this information.
Yo como dije, necesitas mucha de esta información.
As we get to the letter to the Galatians.
Como de camino a la que conozcamos a los Gálatas.
If you don't have this information,
Si tú no tienes esta información,
you're going to read the letter improperly.
si no tenemos esta información, tú vas a leer la carta de Gálatas inapropiadamente.
If you understand that the Galatians is Rav Shaul's first congregation,
Si tú te das cuenta y tienes el entendimiento de que la primera iglesia, la congregación de Rav Shaul, su primera congregación fue Gálatas.
when you're beginning as a rabbi or a pastor,
En tu comienzo como un rabino o un pastor,
you have to assert your authority a lot more.
you have to
assert your authority a lot more.
tienes que acertar.
To proclaim your authority more.
O debes de proclamar más tu autoridad.
It's like when you have a teenage child.
Es como afirmar, es como cuando tienes un hijo que es adolescente.
If you've never disciplined that child beforehand,
Si tú nunca pusiste disciplina antes de mano a este joven,
the teenager is going to challenge your authority.
este adolescente va a challenge,
Fight
a
against.
retar tu conocimiento o tu autoridad.
Okay? So you need this information when you read Galatians.
Tú necesitas esta información cuando lees a Corintios,
Because-
a Gálatas.
Because when you don't have this information
Porque cuando no tienes esta información
and you don't read the whole letter in one sitting,
y tú no lees la carta completa en un solo tiempo,
you will definitely come to the wrong conclusion.
definitivamente tú vas a llegar a una conclusión errónea.
The more I studied how to present this letter,
Mientras que yo más aprendía cómo a presentar esta carta,
and the more research I did,
y cuanto más yo indagué,
because Christians write volumes
porque los cristianos escriben en volumen
on Galatians,
en Gálatas, sobre el libro de Gálatas,
because they want to do everything possible to not be obedient children to God.
porque ellos tratan de hacer todo lo posible para no ser hijos obedientes a Elohim.
And you'll see that in a minute.
Y esto tú lo vas a ver en un minuto.
But, you know, even myself at the beginning of the ministry,
Aún así, yo mismo en el comienzo de este ministerio,
you had a lot of people challenging the leadership.
había muchas personas que estaban desafiando el liderazgo.
And we got into a lot of very big verbal altercations.
Y llegamos a muchas situaciones verbales con personas,
So now I just sit back
discusiones.
and I take my chess piece and I play a nice game of chess.
Y por eso es que ahora yo tomo mi pieza de ajedrez y hago un juego de ajedrez.
Because I understand how the game is played much better now.
Porque ahora entiendo cómo es que se juega este juego de una mejor manera.
And when you play chess, you must be a thinking person.
Y cuando juegas ajedrez, debes ser una persona que analizas, que piensas.
Okay? So here we go back to our chart
Aquí vamos de regreso al
graph.
a gráfico.
Okay? When Sha'ul wrote 1 Corinthians,
Cuando Sha'ul escribió Primera de Corintios,
he's living in the city of Ephesus.
él está viviendo en la ciudad de Éfeso.
The other thing that you also gain from this graph
Y algo más que tú puedes conseguir de esta gráfica,
as Sha'ul is growing in age,
así mientras que Sha'ul está creciendo en edad,
he's also
envejeciendo,
growing in wisdom.
él aún así va creciendo en conocimiento también, en sabiduría.
He's also growing in his ability to understand different cultures.
Y también está creciendo en su habilidad para conocer diferentes culturas.
What was your name again, sir? Cosmo?
I learned something. I don't know if I'm wrong or because, and I want to tell you why I'm coming from with this question. I read that show when he become after he came out down in the road and they was blind and he started with the church. He went out of the for 3 years. They said that.
We'll get to that in a minute. He's going to go to Damascus for 3 years.
Vamos a entrar en esto en un tiempo, en un momento, y él fue a Damasco por tres años.
And that's in Galatians 1, verse 19.
Y esto lo pondremos en Gálatas 1, versículo 19.
Okay? He's now living in Macedonia.
Ahora está en 2 de Corintios.
Okay? Then people put him in Corinth and some people put him in Greece.
En Gálatas,
He's living with
muchas
Greek.
personas lo ponen a él en Corintios y otros lo ponen en Grecia.
Okay? So when you're submerged in 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. All right. So he's living. Takes a moment for the signal to stable out when they turn their microphones on. The pagans turn their microphones on. Okay. So he's living in Greece amongst the people who are idol worshippers.
Él está viviendo en Grecia entre las personas que son idólatras a imágenes.
Okay, and everybody knows Greek mythology. It's quite fascinating.
Y muchos de ustedes conocen la metodología griega, que es bien fascinante. Mitología griega, que es fascinante.
When he's writing the book of Romans, he's living in Corinth.
Cuando él está escribiendo el libro de los Romanos, él está viviendo en Corintos.
Now, when he's living in Corinth, it's a very industrialized city.
Cuando él está viviendo en Corintos, esto es una ciudad bien industrial.
He's going to be dealing with a lot of different cultures and businesses.
Él va a estar lidiando con diferentes personas de diferentes culturas y negocios.
That's why when you read the book of Romans, it's very different than Galatians.
Por eso es que cuando lees el libro de los Romanos te vas a dar cuenta que es muy diferente a Gálatas.
Okay, then when he writes Philippians, Colossians, Ephesians, and Philemon, he's living in Rome, 7 to 10.
Cuando te das cuenta de que él está escribiendo a Filemón, Colosenses, Efesios y Filipenses, he's living
in Rome.
Él está viviendo en Roma.
Okay, then I'll put my mouse over here so you can see it.
Yes.
Okay, when he's writing 1 Timothy, he's living in Macedonia.
Cuando él está escribiendo Primera de Timoteo, él está viviendo en Macedonia.
And when he's writing Titus, he's living in Ephesus again.
Y cuando él está escribiendo a Tito, él está entonces viviendo en Éfeso.
And all during this time, you got to read the book of Acts.
Y todo este tiempo, todo lo que tienes que hacer es leer el libro de Hechos.
Because Acts takes you from when Sha'ul gets saved to when he goes to Rome.
Porque el libro de Hechos te lleva desde cuando Rab Sha'ul fue salvo
goes to Rome.
hasta que él llega a Roma.
Okay? And then finally when he writes 2 Timothy,
Y finalmente cuando él escribe segunda de Timoteo,
he's back in Rome.
él está de regreso en Roma.
Now you can argue about these points, it really doesn't matter.
Ahora tú puedes argumentar entre estos puntos, pero esto en realidad no importa.
The main point of me bringing this at the beginning of the study
El punto importante por el cual traigo esto antes del estudio
is that when you do your own reading,
es cuando tú lees,
you need to understand where in Paul's Rav Shaul's journey he is.
tú tienes que entender dónde está Rab Sha'ul en este tiempo.
Denise,
Can I have a copy of this timeline, everything?
you can have a copy of the PowerPoint.
Thank you.
Okay. And anybody who wants a copy of the PowerPoint, just send me an email or download it when it's on the website. Okay, say it in Spanish.
Cualquiera que necesite
Please.
esta diapositiva puede mandarme un email y así lo podrán obtener.
And I got like 200 pages of notes.
Y tengo como un aproximado de 200 páginas en notas.
As with all of our studies, I try to be as thorough as possible.
Y como todos los demás estudios, yo trato de ser lo más thorough, profundo, profundizar lo que más pueda.
Because you want the truth is what you want.
Tú quieres la verdad, ¿no es lo que andas buscando?
And God does the Bible never contradicts itself.
Y la Biblia nunca se contradice a sí misma.
So, like I said, to me, when I study,
Como dije, cuando yo estudio,
I have to put everything in little boxes
yo tengo que poner todo en pequeñas cajas
so that everything has its place and it has its order.
para que así todo tenga su lugar y su orden.
Most people study, they go like this, they go like that, like this, like that.
La mayoría de las personas cuando estudian se van de aquí para allá, hacia acá y en todos lados.
And when you do that, you come to an inaccurate conclusion.
Y cuando haces esto, vas a llegar a una conclusión que no es correcta.
It's like reading the Quran. The Quran goes here, there, over here, and over the place.
Es como leer el Corán. El Corán se va en todos, vas en diferentes puntos.
Our Bible goes from point A to point B to point C.
Nuestra Biblia va del punto A al punto B al punto C.
Okay, going on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, so let's take a timeline of the Apostle Shaul's life.
Ahora vamos a tomar una línea de tiempo de la vida del Rab Sha'ul.
This part is very important
Esta parte es bien importante
because you're going to see a couple of events right before he writes Galatians.
porque vas a ver unos cuantos eventos antes de que él escriba esta carta.
Okay, he was born an Israelite in Tarsus
Él nació como un israelita en Tarsis,
about the same time that Yeshua and Yochanan the Immerser were born.
aproximadamente en el tiempo que Yeshua y Juan el Bautista nacieron.
So he's about the same age as Messiah Yeshua in the earth.
Y él es aproximadamente la misma edad, bless you. Y él es aproximadamente la misma edad que Yeshua cuando fue hombre aquí en la tierra.
Sha'ul is a dual citizen like most of you.
Rab Sha'ul tiene una ciudadanía doble como la mayoría de ustedes.
So that might help you to understand him a little bit better.
Esto tal vez te ayude a entenderlo a él mejor.
Because he's a Jew, but he's born in Rome.
Porque él es judío, pero nació en Roma.
So a lot of you guys are Dominican, but you're living here in America.
Porque muchos tal vez de ustedes son dominicanos, pero viven aquí en los Estados
It
Unidos.
helps, that type of mental understanding might help you to understand
Tal
Sha'ul.
vez ese tipo de entendimiento te ayude a entender a Sha'ul.
Because
o a Pablo.
he's growing up in Rome, so he's thinking like a Roman, but he's also a Jew.
Porque él nació en Roma y él piensa como un romano, pero también él es un judío.
Betsy! Okay. He's a Roman citizen by Felix.
Wow.
Oh. Yeshua must be here. He must be outside. He's in the house. Okay. So he's a Roman citizen by birthright.
Por derechos de nacimiento, él es un ciudadano de Roma.
Okay? Sha'ul starts to study up the Torah at the age of 6 or 7 years old.
Shaul empieza su estudio de la Torá en su edad de más o menos 7, 8 años.
Okay? So that's another part that we should understand about all of his writings.
Esto es otra parte que también debemos de entender sobre todo lo que él escribió.
Okay? That he starts studying when he's a very young boy.
De que él empieza a estudiar cuando él tiene una temprana edad.
Okay? Now also, as he gets older, as Sha'ul gets older,
Y también mientras que Rab Shaul va envejeciendo,
he studies under one of the greatest rabbis to ever live, Gamaliel.
y él empieza a aprender o a estudiar con uno de los mejores rabinos que existió en este momento, que fue Gamaliel.
And Gamaliel taught very much like Yeshua.
Y Gamaliel, él también enseñó así como más o menos lo hizo Yeshua.
So how did Gamaliel teach?
Entonces, ¿cómo es que él enseña?
He gives a lot of parables and a lot of life experience type of teaching.
Él da muchas parábolas y muchas enseñanzas tipo de acuerdo a la situación del ser humano.
So this is Shaul's style of teaching.
Este es el sistema que usa Rab Shaul también de enseñar.
Going on to the next slide, a little bit more about his life.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva, aprendiendo un poco más sobre su vida.
Now we're going to go from 35 AD to 43 AD.
Ahora vamos a ir de 35 AD a 43 AD.
Shaul didn't start off as a messianic believer.
Pablo no empezó como mesiánico.
Okay. He actually hated the Messianic Jews like we are hated today.
Y él prácticamente odió a los mesiánicos como somos nosotros odiados hoy en día.
And if the Jews could kill the Messianic Jews today, they still would.
Y si los judíos pudieran matar a los judíos mesiánicos hoy en día, prácticamente lo harían.
My family does not like me very much.
Mi familia como que no gusta de mí mucho.
So Shaul gives the order to kill Stephen.
Pablo da la orden para matar a Esteban.
Okay. He persecutes the Messianic congregations tremendously.
Él persigue a la iglesia mesiánica de una gran manera.
Okay. Then on the road to Damascus, on the way to go kill some more Messianic Jews,
Y de camino a Damasco para matar a más judíos mesiánicos,
he hears Yeshua.
él escucha a Yeshua.
He never meets him face to face.
Él nunca le conoce cara a cara.
Yeshua speaks to him and said, "Why are you persecuting me, Sha'ul?"
Y Yeshua le dice, ¿por qué me estás persiguiendo, Pablo?
And this is found in Acts chapter 9.
Y esto se encuentra en Hechos capítulo 9.
Okay? So it wasn't like one of the Talmudim, the disciples were witnessing to Sha'ul.
No fue como uno de los apóstoles que fue
What are you not hearing, Josh?
Coleman is not Joseph. His microphone is not good.
His microphone is low. You got to bring it up higher.
Oh, it's dead.
Oh, it's dead. Well, that would. How long has that been dead? Just now?
Yeah, like 20 seconds.
Okay. Sorry about that. I try these. These are relatively new. 1 second. Baño. Is Vero in the baño? Could be a good time to switch. Okay, 1 second. All right, so Sha'ul never meets Yeshua personally.
Entonces, Pablo nunca conoció a Yeshua personalmente.
He doesn't sit underneath the Talmudim, the other disciples for years. He doesn't do that.
Él no se sienta con los apóstoles, con los demás apóstoles por años.
He-
Él no hizo esto.
He hears Yeshua, gets blinded for a few days,
Él escucha a Yeshua y fue cegado por unos cuantos días.
then he goes to the mikveh, he goes to the baptism,
Entonces luego él se va al bautismo.
and then for the next 3 years he goes to Damascus.
Y luego en los siguientes años él se va a Damasco.
This is not really good,
Esto en realidad no es bien, no es bueno.
okay, because what is he, and nobody knows what he's doing in Damascus for 3 years.
Y nadie sabe qué está haciendo él en Damasco por 3 años.
Yes, Denise?
I think he was studying or something. I know I read something somewhere. I don't remember. He was studying.
Nobody really knows what he's doing.
En
Well,
realidad nadie sabe qué él estaba haciendo.
What would he be and if he's studying, what is he studying?
Y si él estaba estudiando, ¿qué estaba él estudiando?
Because the New Testament's not written.
Porque el Nuevo Testamento aún no estaba vigente.
Remember, during this time,
Recuerda, durante este tiempo,
only the Galatians have the letter to the Galatians.
Solo los Gálatas tienen la carta a los Gálatas.
Nobody has the Gospels yet because they're being written.
Nadie aún tiene los evangelios porque aún no estaban escritos.
But everybody has one thing,
Pero todos tienen una sola cosa,
the Old Testament.
el Antiguo Testamento.
Like Yeshua read the Old Testament every week in the synagogue.
Como Yeshua que leía el Antiguo Testamento todos los sábados,
Okay.
todas las semanas en la sinagoga.
So Sha'ul gets saved,
El Pablo fue salvado
and then he goes through the mikveh,
y luego él va al bautismo.
and then in Galatians chapter 1 verse 17, he goes to Damascus for 3 years.
Y en Gálatas capítulo 1 versículo 17 él se va de regreso a Damasco.
All right, let's go to the next slide. Proximal slide, whatever, I forgot the word slide. Okay,
Diapositiva.
now from 44 to 49,
Ahora de los años 44 al 49
they start to go and evangelize the Jews.
comienzan a salir a evangelizar a los judíos.
Sha'ul and Barnabas are out evangelizing.
Shaul y Barnabás comienzan a salir a evangelizar.
And then they travel to Cilicia
Después viajaron a Cilicia,
and Cyprus.
a Ciprés, no, a
And the-
Chipre.
Chipre. I like chips.
Yeah, chips and queso. Chipre.
Okay. Then they preach in synagogues.
Y predicaron en sinagogas.
They're not preaching in churches
No están predicando en iglesias.
because the word church is not really there.
Porque la palabra iglesia no está allí.
There are temples of pagan gods
Hay templos de dioses paganos
and temples of Judaism or synagogues.
y templos de judaísmo o sinagogas.
And then they get into such an argument.
Y después se entran en una discusión.
The disciple Mark leaves Sha'ul and Barnabas.
Que el discípulo Marco deja a Shaul y Barnabá.
So now you have the man who knew Yeshua himself, John Mark.
Ahora
The man who knew Yeshua himself, John Mark. His name is John Mark.
El hombre que conoció a Yeshua, Juan Marcos,
He leaves because he can't take Sha'ul anymore.
él se va porque no resiste a Rab Shaul.
Okay, and I know some people out there are saying, hey, that's just like you. Okay, this happens in Acts 13, verse 13.
Y esto pasa en Hechos 13, versículo 3.
Let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente
Okay, so
diapositiva.
now Mark leaves,
Ahora Marcos se va
and now let's see what happens.
y ahora a ver qué sucede.
Now Sha'ul and Barnabas go to Jerusalem
Ahora Shaul y Barnabas se van a Jerusalén
to talk to the other Talmudim, the other apostles.
para hablar con los otros talmadín o los apóstoles.
And they talk about being circumcised.
y hablan acerca de ser circuncidados.
And this is in the book of Acts.
Y esto está en el libro de los
I
Hechos.
think it's chapter 15.
Me parece que es el capítulo 15.
And the council at Jerusalem
En el Consejo de Jerusalén
decide that they don't need to be circumcised.
decidió que no era necesario circuncidarse.
This is a great error by the council at Jerusalem.
Este es un gran error en el concilio de Jerusalén.
And we will prove that through the word of God in a few minutes.
Y vamos a probar esto por medio de la palabra de Dios en unos minutos.
But I want you to see something.
Pero quiero que vean algo.
Now, remember, the Galatians are Shaul's first congregation under his authority.
Recuerda que los Gálatas son la primera congregación de Rab Shaul, o la primera congregación que está bajo la autoridad de Rab Shaul.
He now goes to Jerusalem and gets this letter to say, okay, just don't eat food sacrificed to idols.
Ahora él fue a Jerusalén para recibir esta carta donde dice que no coman comida sacrificada a otros dioses.
And in Acts 15, verses 1 through 34, they pick a few things that people can and can't do.
Y en Hechos 15, del 1 al 34, escogen cuáles son las reglas que ellos debían seguir.
What gave them the authority to say those things and not the rest of the Torah?
¿Cuál autoridad tenían ellos para decir solo hagan estas cosas y no toda la Torah?
So now Shaul is empowered
Ahora Rab Shaul tiene poder
by the council at Jerusalem
en el por el consejo o concilio de
to
Jerusalén
bring this letter back to the Galatians.
para traer esta carta de vuelta a los Gálatas.
Remember, this is his first managerial job.
Recuerda que este es su primer trabajo administrativo.
And a lot of times when people have their first management job, they don't do too well.
Y la gente cuando usualmente tiene su trabajo de administración por primera vez no lo desempeña muy bien.
Then after receiving this letter from the council at Jerusalem,
Y después de recibir esta carta del Concilio de Jerusalén,
now also we need to point out,
también necesitamos señalar
he spent time with Yochanan Mark,
que él pasó un tiempo con Yochanan Mark,
but he has not spent a lot of time with any of the other Talmudim learning about Yeshua.
pero no pasó un tiempo con ninguno de los otros discípulos para aprender acerca de Yeshua.
He spends approximately 2 weeks in Jerusalem with the
Él-
other disciples of Talmudim.
Él se queda aproximadamente 2 semanas en Jerusalén con los judíos, con los discípulos de Yeshua.
And after this council meeting,
Y después de esta reunión del concilio,
then he writes the letter to the Galatians.
entonces él escribe la carta a los Gálatas.
Okay, has anybody got any questions about the timeline
¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta acerca de esta línea de tiempo?
before we go on to the next slide?
Antes de seguir,
No questions yet?
¿no preguntas aún?
Good. Now let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
We're going to start our study of the book of the letter to the Galatians
Vamos a comenzar el estudio de la carta de los Gálatas
with the last chapter.
con el último capítulo.
Why am I going to start with the last chapter?
Okay.
Why am I going to start with the last chapter?
¿Por qué voy a comenzar con el último capítulo?
Because with the last chapter, you get every piece of information that you need to study the beginning.
Porque en el último capítulo tú tienes toda pieza de información para comenzar con el
Because you're going to see the attitude of Sha'ul.
porque vas a ver la actitud de Shaul,
You're going to see how angry he is.
vas a ver cuán enojado él está.
And you're going to see who he's trying to tear down.
Y tú vas a ver a quién está él tratando de destruir.
Now remember, he's a young man.
Recuerda que él es un hombre que es joven.
If he's a contemporary of Yeshua,
Si él es un contemporáneo de Yeshua,
and Yeshua, our Messiah, died in 33,
y Yeshua, nuestro Mesías, murió en el 33,
it's now 49.
ahora es el año 49.
Sha'ul is not even 50 years old yet.
Shaul no tiene ni siquiera 50 años.
Okay, let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
We're going to now read Galatians chapter 6. Everybody turn to Galatians chapter 6.
Vamos a la carta de Gálatas capítulo 6.
We're going to read verse 11 through 17.
Vamos a leer los versos 11 al 17.
We're going to read those verses,
Vamos a leer esos versículos
and then we're going to look at those verses.
y después examinaremos estos versículos.
Because now as I said, Galatians is one letter.
Como yo dije, los Gálatas, la carta de Gálatas es solo una carta.
One very long letter,
Es una carta muy larga,
but it is a single letter.
pero es una sola carta.
When you read this chapter and these verses,
Cuando te leas estos capítulos y estos versos,
you will know why he wrote the rest of the letter.
tú sabrás por qué él escribió el resto de la carta.
You will understand the mental attitude of the writer of the letter,
Vas a entender la actitud mental del autor de esta carta,
because he's going to tell you himself.
porque él mismo te lo va a decir.
So Galatians chapter 6 verse 11 through 17.
Gálatas capítulo 6, versículo 11 al 17.
Look at the large letters I use as I close in my own handwriting. It is those who want to look good outwardly who are trying to get you to be circumcised. The only reason they're doing it is to escape persecution for preaching about the Messiah's cross. For even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah. Next slide. On the contrary, they want you to get circumcised so that they can boast of having gained your adherence. But as for me, heaven forbid that I should boast about anything except the cross of our Lord Yeshua the Messiah. Through him, as far as I'm concerned, the world has been put to death on the cross. And through him, as far as the world is concerned, I've been put to death on the cross. Next slide. For neither being circumcised nor being uncircumcised matters. What matters is being a new creation. And as many as order their lives by this rule, shalom upon them and mercy upon the Israel of God. From now on, I don't want to get anyone to give me any more sodas or problems because I have scars on my body to prove that I belong to Yeshua. Okay? Now, what does everybody think of those
¿Qué piensan acerca de estos versos?
7 verses?
De estos 7 versos.
What do you think, Denise? What do you think about Sha'ul's? Is he kind of angry? Just a bit angry. He's bothered. Why do you think he's bothered?
¿Por qué crees que está molesto?
You're not using your microphone, Denise. You got to get over the screaming downstairs because they're trying to scream at God. They think if they scream louder, God will hear. I thought maybe that's in Kings and Chronicles where if you scream louder, maybe he'll come and take the offering. Sorry, another biblical reference.
Because he's being challenged.
He's being challenged.
He's a bit annoyed. That's my answer.
What do you think there, Elizabeth?
Well, as you read, you can see that there are certain people that oppose to his teachings, like certain rabbis or teachers over there. They trying to impose something rather than have these people probably accept Yeshua first, as they want to just circumcise, but with no meaning, like just to do it.
En español. You speak Spanish, right?
Ahí lo que se ve es que él se siente como hostigado, un poquito frustrado porque se están levantando algunos maestros o rabinos que quieren circuncidar a las personas solo por hacerlo, como hacerlo exteriormente, por lo que se ve, sin tomar en cuenta que la persona tiene que aceptar a Yeshua primeramente como Salvador y luego todas esas cosas vienen más adelante. Eso es lo que yo puedo ver más o menos.
Anybody else? Lisbeth? Come on, Lisbeth. In your purple outfit today. Speak up!
In my opinion, I see that he's like super fed up with that community because I see that there's sort of like the way we are now. It's like a Hellenistic sort of society that kind of shows, like pretends to do God's will and His word.
Whoa. You're a college graduate too. Wow. Anybody else want to add? Raved? Give him the microphone. Run over the microphone.
Throw him.
See what Asher has to say.
Asher, you're going to give your 2 shekels again like you did this morning?
Just by, if we read, if we don't know how to read, to me, it seems like he's contradict everything what Messiah says, because he's talking about what is modern, basically he's not saying that we need the circumcision and all that.
Asher, you want to talk?
And if we don't know how to read the Bible, that's why people get to those conclusions that you see in one verse, he's saying not the circumcision is not needed, for be able to fulfill everything. And it seems like he's talking against what God's word.
You want to talk, Asher? Anybody else want to add their 2 shekels before we break it down? Yosef?
I think here, what I see here is that, again, these people were trying to show themselves one thing, and another thing they were trying to make an excuse to not follow Yeshua. With regarding this, it's like, okay, do not. They were like where Elizabeth said, they were circumcising them for no reason. But now he says there at the end that he has marks to prove it, that Yeshua has done what he did with him. So it's like he's like also testifying here. If you don't want to believe it, so that's kind of to you. But I know that it's so that Yeshua went on the cross for all this.
Okay, Espanol.
Lo que yo veo aquí es que se ve que estoy de acuerdo con la hermana Elizabeth que dice que están circuncidándose por solo hacerlo y no teniendo en cuenta de que Yeshua fue a la cruz, y así mismo dice Pablo de que él tiene cómo mostrarlo de que eso sucedió de esa manera, y vemos que muchas personas no quieren creer y solo quieren hacer lo que a ellos les parece.
Okay. Martin, you want to add any 2 shekels? I know you got something, Martin.
Brother, I think what Russia is saying is that circumcision means nothing if it doesn't start from the exterior. It starts from the interior, outside. That's circumcision as a way of justification. It doesn't work. It's Yeshua and work innerly, and then circumcision, because it means nothing. It's exactly what we live in today. It doesn't matter if you're circumcised or not. If you don't live under the standards of God's Torah and obedience and spirituality, it means nothing. So I think this is what I think was happening in Galatians, as a way of justification. It doesn't work like that.
All right, so we got some good input. Now let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Now we're going to review those verses. We're going to review those verses.
Vamos a revisar estos versos.
Okay, next slide. Go to verse 11 to 13 again.
Vamos a leer los versículos 11 al 13.
Look at the large letters I use as I close in my own handwriting. It is those who want to look good outwardly who are trying to get you to be circumcised. The only reason they are doing it is to escape the persecution for preaching about Messiah's cross. For even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah. So we're going to look at the 3 verses.
Vamos a ver estos 3 versos.
In verse 11,
En el versículo 11,
you see that, look, I'm writing in my own handwriting.
ven aquí que dice, yo estoy escribiendo en mi propio puño y letra.
I'm making sure that you know it's me.
Yo me estoy asegurando de que ustedes sepan que soy yo.
What verse 11 shows you
Lo que el versículo 11 te muestra
is he's taking a personal offense against who's ever teaching against him.
muestra que él está tomando ofensa personal, lo está tomando personal a la que está enseñando lo contrario de él.
Remember, this is his first congregation.
Recuerda que esta es su primera congregación.
It's his first management job.
Este es su primer trabajo de administración.
Move the transmitter.
I'm gonna change to the other side. Hold on.
No, the transmitter, not the mic. Just move it a couple inches. Okay? So he's taking it personal.
Lo está tomando personal.
Okay? Now in verse 12,
En el versículo 12,
let's read verse 12 again.
leamos el versículo 12.
It is those who want to look good outwardly who are trying to get you to be circumcised. The only reason they're doing it is to escape persecution for preaching about Messiah's cross. He's throwing who's ever talking against him under the bus.
Él está humillando a los que están hablando en contra de él.
Because he says, those who want to look good outwardly.
Porque dice aquellos que tratan de aparentar.
It's the way that things go here at Beth Goim.
Es la manera que van aquí en Beth Goim.
Somebody always thinks there's a better teacher than me.
Alguien siempre piensa que es mejor maestro que yo.
So go follow that teacher.
Entonces ve y enseña
I've been
ese
doing this
maestro.
way too long to really care if you want to stay or go.
Yo he estado trabajando en esto mucho tiempo que para importarme tanto si te quedas o te vas.
If you're coming here to learn about God,
Si vienes aquí a aprender acerca de Dios,
because this ministry focuses on getting you through trial in heaven.
porque este ministerio se enfoca en hacer que pases el juicio que te espera en el cielo.
There are better teachers that talk about prophecy than I do.
Hay mejores maestros que enseñan acerca de la profecía mejor que yo.
I don't care about prophecy really that much.
A mí no me importa mucho acerca de la profecía.
I care about getting you through your trial in heaven.
Yo quiero que ustedes puedan ser aprobados en el juicio en el cielo.
But what we see here in verse 12,
Pero lo que vemos aquí en el versículo 12,
the letter has everything to do with this group of people
la carta tiene mucho que ver con este grupo de personas
trying to tear down what Sha'ul has already taught them.
tratando de destruir lo que Rab Sha'ul les ha enseñado,
Because they want to look good outwardly.
porque quieren mirarse bien afuera.
It's like there's some women that come here that cover their head for Shabbat, but the rest of the week they don't cover their head.
Es como algunas mujeres que vienen aquí y se cubren la cabeza para el Shabbat, pero afuera no lo hacen.
There used to be a woman that was here
Había una mujer que era aquí,
that had her son here also.
que también tuvo a su hijo aquí.
She would cover her hair for Shabbat,
Ella se cubría el cabello para Shabbat,
but the rest of the week her son told me that she never covers her hair.
pero el resto de la semana su hijo mismo me dijo que ella no cubría su cabello.
So the same problem that we see in verse 12
El mismo problema que vemos aquí en el versículo 2
has been going on for 2,000 years.
ha estado sucediendo por los últimos 2000
And
años.
the only reason they're doing this is they want to escape the persecution.
Y la única razón que están haciendo esto es que quieren escapar persecución.
They're not doing it because we need to be circumcised to do
No.
what Messiah Yeshua said.
No están haciéndolo porque necesitamos hacerlo porque Yeshua Mesías lo hizo.
And then look at verse 13. Look what he says about them in verse 13.
Veamos en el versículo 13 qué es lo que dice.
For even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah. Wait. Don't observe the Torah.
No observan la Torah.
I thought you said we didn't have to follow the Torah.
Yo pensé que dijiste que no teníamos que seguir la Torah, guardar la
So
Torah.
he's throwing the people under the bus who are teaching against him and saying they don't even follow the Torah.
Estaba humillando a aquellos que están en contra de sus enseñanzas, diciendo que ni ellos guardan la Torah.
But you don't understand this because you're all tied up together in everything else that he wrote.
Pero no entiendes esto porque también estás inmiscuido en estas cosas.
You don't understand why he wrote it.
No entiendes por qué lo escribió.
You don't see the letter or the conversation that Sha'ul had.
No tienes la carta ni la conversación que Rav Shaul tuvo.
So you're coming to the conclusion we can do whatever we want.
Entonces te das a la conclusión de decir que puedes hacer lo que queramos.
We're not under the law.
No estamos bajo la ley.
But he's saying those who want you to circumcise, they're not even following the Torah.
Pero él mismo dice, aquellos que son circuncidados ni siquiera guardan la ley.
Let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Verse 13 through 14.
Versos 13 y 14.
On the contrary, they want you to get circumcised so they can boast about having gained your adherence. But as for me, heaven forbid that I should boast about anything except the execution's sake of Yeshua the Messiah. Through him, as far as I'm concerned, the world has been put to death on a cross, and through him, as far as the world is concerned, I have been put to death on the cross. So we have a couple of things.
Tenemos algunas cosas aquí.
They want to boast.
Ellos quieren gloriarse.
So this letter is to tear them down.
Esta carta es para humillarlos o destruirlos.
It has nothing else to, and we will prove that through the study.
Y no hay nada más y vamos a probar esto mediante el estudio.
He wants to tear these people down.
Quiere destruir esta gente.
So he throws them under the bus in verse 13.
Entonces en el versículo 13 vemos cómo los humilla.
He's saying they want to boast. I don't want to boast.
Él dice, miren cómo se glorian, pero yo no me glorío.
Okay, and in verse 14 he says, this is not what I'm doing.
En el versículo 13 dice, yo no estoy haciendo esto.
In verse 14 he's saying, I am just wanting you to believe in the Yeshua the Messiah on the cross.
En el versículo 14 está diciendo que ellos creen. Can you repeat that again?
He says, all I want you to believe is the Yeshua the Messiah on the cross.
Todo lo que yo quiero que hagas es que creas en Yeshua el Mesías de la cruz.
Now let's go to the next slide, and this is our key.
Y esta va a ser nuestra próxima clave.
Verse 15 through 17. This is the biggest part of the letter that you really need to understand.
Versículo 13 al 17. 13 to 17.
Verse 15 through
O
17.
15 al 17.
For neither being circumcised nor being uncircumcised matter. What matters is being a new creation. As many as order their lives by this rule, shalom upon them and mercy upon the Israel of Elohim. From now on, I don't want anyone to give me any more suddas or problems because I have the scars on my body to prove that I belong to Yeshua. So in verse 17,
En el versículo 17
he's saying, I got the scars to prove it. I've been through the war.
dice, aquí tengo las cicatrices que pueden probar, he pasado por la guerra.
What else is he saying in verse 17?
¿Qué más dice en el versículo 17?
Those people that are teaching against me,
Aquellos que están enseñando en contra de mí
they have not been through the war.
no han pasado por la guerra,
They have not been trained.
no han sido entrenados,
They have not led anybody to the Lord.
no han guiado a la gente al Señor.
Wait, is this being written about Beth Goim or is this being written about Galatia?
Está escrito acerca de Beth Goim o Revelaciones.
And this is verse 15. It's key to Beth Goim.
Y el versículo 13 es la clave para Beth Goim.
15.
15.
See, I understand your Spanish. For neither being circumcised nor being uncircumcised matters. What matters is being a new creation. I teach the same thing.
Yo enseño lo mismo.
What good are you being circumcised if you're sleeping with a prostitute?
¿Qué tiene de bien el circuncidarse si estás durmiendo con una prostituta?
The owner of this building is the publisher of Playboy magazine.
El dueño de este edificio es el publicista de la revista Playboy.
And he's an Orthodox Jew
Y él es un judío ortodoxo
who is circumcised
que está circuncidado.
and has had sex with his girlfriend and now has a child through his girlfriend, but he's not married.
Y tiene un bebé con su novia porque tuvo relaciones sexuales con ella, pero no está
So
casado.
what good is being circumcised if you're fornicating?
¿Qué de bueno tiene el ser circuncidado si estás fornicando?
Look at verse 15, everybody.
Veamos al versículo 15.
The whole letter hinges on this verse.
La carta completa tiene que ver con este verso completo.
Remember, who is he writing to?
Recuerden a quién él está escribiendo.
Is he writing to the Roman church?
¿Está él escribiendo a la iglesia romana?
Is he writing to the evangelical church?
¿Está escribiéndole a la iglesia
The
evangélica?
Baptist church?
¿A la iglesia bautista?
No, they have not been established yet.
Aún no han sido establecidas.
It is now the year 49.
Ahora, en este momento es del año 49.
Yeshua died in 33.
Yeshua murió en el año 33.
43,
43.
another 6 more years.
Y ahora son 6 años más.
It's 16 years later.
Son 16 años después.
How many schools of training are there for Messianic rabbis in the year 16 after Yeshua was crucified?
¿Cuántas escuelas de educación mesiánica existirían en ese tiempo para formar maestros?
One.
Una nada más.
One school, and that is not even really formed very well.
Una, y esa escuela no está ni siquiera muy bien formada.
And that's the council at Jerusalem with Kepha and some of the other, and Yaakov.
Es el concilio de Jerusalén donde está Kefa y otros talmadim.
So now we're 16 years later.
Ahora pasaron 16 años.
People are still learning what has to still be done.
La gente está aprendiendo aún lo que tiene que hacerse.
So if you're circumcised, what does it matter if you're a prostitute?
Si estás circuncidado, ¿qué importa si eres una prostituta?
You're going to hell.
Tú irás al infierno.
What does it matter if you're circumcised if you're a gay man?
¿Qué tiene de bueno estar circuncidado si eres un homosexual?
And you're putting your penis where it shouldn't belong.
Y estás poniendo tu pene donde no tiene que ir.
What matters is being a new creation.
Lo que importa es el ser una nueva creación.
What is a new creation?
¿Qué es una nueva creación?
Get the mic, Elizabeth.
To become a new creation, first of all, you need to accept Yeshua in your heart. Like you need to repent from your sin and receive Him, and then start following and do what He did, which is to obey the commands of the Torah.
Amen. Spanish.
Para hacer una nueva creación, primeramente hay que aceptar a Yeshua en su corazón y arrepentirse y luego seguir los pasos de Yeshua y observar los mandamientos de la Torah.
Now, a new creation
Una nueva creación
is not going to be worshiping on Sunday
no es el adorar el domingo,
because that's the day of the sun god.
porque ese es el día del Dios, el sol.
So they're worshiping another god.
Ellos están adorando a otro Dios.
So what does it matter if you're circumcised,
¿Qué importa si estás circuncidado,
but you're still worshiping on Sunday?
pero aún estás adorando el domingo?
Or you're still eating ham?
¿O aún estás comiendo jamón?
Or you're still celebrating Christmas?
¿O aún estás celebrando la Navidad?
Or praying to an idol?
¿O rezándole a un ídolo?
So Sha'ul is saying it doesn't matter if you're circumcised
Sha'ul dice que no importa si estás circuncidado
or uncircumcised.
o incircunciso.
What matters is being a new creation.
Lo que importa es ser una nueva creación.
And the new creation is, the cornerstone of a new creation is what?
Y la piedra angular de la nueva creación es ¿qué?
Is the Sabbath.
Es el sábado.
Because who cares about all the other stuff?
Porque a quién le importa acerca de las otras cosas.
But what's going on, as we're going to find out,
Pero lo que está sucediendo, y vamos a enterarnos,
is they want them to be circumcised, but they're still going to prostitutes.
es que quieren que sean circuncidados, pero pero aún siguen siendo prostitutas.
So what does he say in now verse 16?
¿Qué está diciendo aquí en el versículo 16?
As many as order their lives by this rule, shalom upon them, and mercy, and upon Israel of Elohim. So what Sha'ul is doing there in verse 16,
Lo que Rab Sha'ul está haciendo aquí en el versículo 16
he's saying that if these people keep teaching this way,
es que esta gente sigue enseñando aún esta manera.
that may God have mercy on their soul.
Que Dios tenga misericordia de ellos en su alma.
Now, look at verse 17,
Versículo 17.
because he's another key verse.
Porque aquí está otro versículo clave.
From now on, I don't want anyone to give me any more service problems, because I have scars on my body to prove that I belong to Yeshua. Amen?
Amén.
So in 17,
En el versículo 17,
he's being a father.
él está siendo un padre.
We're not talking about this crap anymore.
Ya no estamos hablando acerca de esto.
You know, there's people that even here that focus on stupid topics.
Hay gente que incluso aquí se enfoca en temas estúpidos.
Like one topic is the world flat. What does that matter if I have to keep Shabbat?
Un tema, por ejemplo, es si la tierra es plana y qué importa si tengo que guardar Shabbat.
Does that mean I can stop being kosher if the world is flat?
Significa que ya no debo observar kosher si es que la tierra es plana.
And, people were freaking out about the jeans comment this week.
Y la gente está volviéndose loca con ese cometa.
You want to come to God,
Comentario.
Pantalones
de los
Cortez.
jeans. I'm sorry. Los pantalones jeans.
okay?
Comentario.
You want to go to the king's house
¿Quieres ir a la casa del rey?
in jeans? I think you're stupid.
En pantalones jeans.
Because I'm meeting with the king on Shabbat.
Porque yo me estoy encontrando con mi rey en Shabbat.
It's his day.
Es el día de él.
Maybe you don't have any good clothes.
Quizá no tienes buenas vestiduras,
Well, wear your best bad clothes.
pero ponte las mejores vestiduras viejas que tengas. O malas.
So here Sha'ul is saying
Aquí Rab Sha'ul está diciendo
people are focusing on the wrong things.
que la gente se está enfocando en las cosas equivocadas.
What matters is that you stay the course with Yeshua.
Lo que importa es que sigas el curso de Yeshua.
And Sha'ul is saying, I got the scars to prove this.
Y Rab Sha'ul dice, tengo yo las cicatrices para probar esto.
I got beaten.
Me han golpeado,
I got whipped.
me han azotado,
I lost my job.
he perdido mi empleo
And I'm still walking with Yeshua.
y aún sigo caminando con Yeshua.
What he's saying about these other people
Lo que está diciendo acerca de esta otra gente
is they're not.
es que ellos no lo han hecho.
And this is what happens with poor teachers.
Y esto es lo que sucede con maestros que no saben.
People think that they can be teachers
La gente piensa que pueden ser maestros
or throw up an internet site
y abren una página de internet
or try to teach on Facebook.
o tratan de enseñar en Facebook.
You don't understand
Tú no entiendes
that in Ezekiel 33,
que en Ezequiel 33,
if you teach the wrong thing,
si tú enseñas lo equivocado,
their blood is on your hands.
la sangre de ellos está en tus manos.
They're going to die in their sin,
Ellos van a morir en su pecado,
but I'm going to count their blood against you.
pero voy a contar su sangre en contra tuya.
This is what Sha'ul is saying in verse 16.
Esto es lo que Rab Sha'ul está diciendo en el versículo 16.
He's not saying that you can be uncircumcised,
No está diciendo que tú tienes que ser incircunciso,
because that would contradict the Father.
porque eso le contradice al Padre.
And that would contradict Yeshua.
Y eso también va a contradecir a Yeshua.
Okay, let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Anybody got any questions or comments so far?
Preguntas.
Smackdown!
I have a question.
Okay, get the microphone, Elizabeth. I don't want your blood on my hand. I'm going to teach you the truth. I got enough problems of my own.
Okay, so, Rabbi, according to what you studied, like, about all these letters, do you think that some of these people, some of these teachers that were part of the disciples, so Yeshua himself? Or just Pharisees and Sadducees in general? What do you say? Because he mentioned in one of his letters that Kepha is a hypocrite. You know, he will eat with the uncircumcised people, but when the people that are circumcised sees that situation, he tries to hide. He basically called him two faces.
Yeah, Kepha and Peter and Sha'ul didn't get along.
Not at all.
Kefa y Shaul no se llevaban bien.
Because Kepha writes, and we're going to go to that scripture in a few minutes,
Porque Kefa escribe también
his letters are confusing.
que las cartas de Rab Shaul son confusas.
Sha'ul's letters are very confusing.
Las cartas de Rab Shaul son muy confusas.
Because, go back to the slide with verse 15 through 17.
Vamos de vuelta a ver los versículos 15 al 17.
Who is this letter to?
¿A quién es esta carta?
The whole congregation?
¿A toda la congregación?
No,
No.
it is not written to the congregation.
Estas cartas no son escritas a toda la congregación.
Why is it not written to the congregation?
¿Por qué no está escrita a toda la congregación?
Because that would be called Lashon Hara, chisme.
Porque eso sería llamado chisme, lashon
This
hara.
letter is not for the congregation, it's for the leader.
Esta carta no es dedicada a la congregación, sino a los
Because
líderes.
he's talking about other people in the letter.
Porque está hablando acerca de otra gente en la carta.
It's written to the leader of the Galatian Messianic congregation.
Está hablando al líder de la congregación mesiánica en Galicia.
It is not written to the people of Galatia.
No es escrito para la gente de Galicia.
Because if it is,
Porque si lo fuera así,
you don't understand the Torah.
no entenderías la Torah.
Torah is very against any type of Lashon Hara, chisme.
La Torah está en contra de todo tipo de chisme o lashon hara.
People who Lashon Hara are not getting in to heaven.
La gente que chismea o hace lashon hara no va a entrar al cielo.
So Sha'ul in verse 16 says,
En el versículo 16, Rab Shaul dice,
these people that are speaking against me are bad.
aquellos que están hablando en contra de mí son malos.
And everybody knows who's speaking against the leadership.
Y todos saben quién está hablando en contra del liderazgo.
So if this letter were to get out,
Si esta carta va a salir,
then it would be Lashon Hara.
entonces sería o se publicaría, esto sería entonces lashon hara.
Because everybody knew who Sha'ul was talking about.
Porque todos sabían de quién estaba Rab Shaul hablando.
Because it's no different than this congregation here.
Que no es diferente de esa congregación aquí.
You guys can't shut your mouth about anything.
Ustedes no se pueden callar la boca acerca de nada.
One of the hardest things is what we do here,
Una de las cosas difíciles que hacemos aquí
is staying all day.
es quedarse todo el día.
Because then people start to have conversations.
Porque después la gente comienza a tener conversaciones.
I'm trying to develop a family,
Estoy tratando de desarrollar aquí una familia,
but it's a very hard gathering of grasshoppers.
pero es una reunión de saltamontes.
It's like herding grasshoppers.
Es como tratar de perseguir apacentar saltamontes.
Okay? So this letter was not written to the public.
Esta carta no fue escrita al público.
And that's why it's so confusing.
Por eso es que es muy confusa.
Because you'll hear me talk to somebody who's new,
Porque me escuchas hablar con alguien que es nuevo,
like our new brother here.
como nuestro nuevo hermano aquí.
I don't care if he's circumcised or not.
No me importa si él está circuncidado o no.
He's leaving the Sunday church. The Lord has spoken to him.
Él está dejando la iglesia del domingo porque el Señor le habló.
I'm not going to pile on the 613 laws to him just yet.
No le voy a decir todas las, no le voy a poner sobre las 613 leyes en este momento.
Does he have to follow all 613? Yes.
Tiene que seguir las 613, sí.
But being circumcised or uncircumcised, it doesn't matter.
Pero circuncidado o incircunciso no importa.
What matters, sir, is that you become a new creation.
Lo que importa es que usted está haciendo una nueva creación.
And that starts with keeping the Sabbath
Y
holy.
eso comienza con guardar y observar el sábado.
The rest of the stuff doesn't matter just yet.
El resto de las cosas no importan aún.
That'll come.
Esto vendrá.
That's exactly what Sha'ul is doing.
Eso es lo que Sha'ul le está diciendo aquí.
In this whole letter, that's what he was doing to the leadership. They didn't know, they didn't understand.
Y en esta carta es lo que está hablando al liderazgo porque no sabían, no entendían.
There was nobody teaching them.
No había nadie que los enseñe.
This is why when people that are leaders come to talk to me,
Por eso es que, I'm sorry,
when leaders come to talk to me,
cuando los líderes vienen y me hablan a mí,
like the reverend for the Christian church that we gave the Christmas message to.
como para el reverendo en la iglesia cristiana que dimos un mensaje de Navidad,
And I said to the reverend, I said, you know, I'm legalistic.
le dije al reverendo, tú sabes que yo soy legalista,
That I'm going to tell your congregation that doing Christmas is wrong. I'm going to do it gentle.
que le voy a decir a tu congregación que celebrar la Navidad está mal y lo voy a hacer de una manera suave.
And did I do it gentle?
Yeah, you tell them.
Robert had to say that was a little bit gentle, but
Well,
it's straightforward.
Okay. There's ways of doing it.
Hay maneras de hacerlo.
And when I go out to churches,
Y cuando yo voy a otras iglesias,
I follow a lot of how Sha'ul talked to the pagans.
yo sigo mucho como Sha'ul hablaba con los paganos.
Because if you come in and you just shoot them,
Porque si vas y los disparas,
then they're dead
entonces murieron
and they die in their sin.
y se mueren en su pecado.
Say it again, you were cut out.
Se mueren en su pecado.
Okay. So let's move on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Let's do an overview of this letter, of
Vamos a
this
ver
one letter.
visión general de esta carta.
Next slide.
Próxima diapositiva.
Apostle Sha'ul's letters were written on an occasion, one occasion.
La carta de Sha'ul fueron escritas en una ocasión.
He was not going to be present when this letter was delivered.
Él no iba a estar presente cuando esta carta se iba a entregar.
So when you read the letter, it's a little bit messed up.
Cuando tú lees esa carta, no se la entiende.
The letter to the Galatians
La carta a los Gálatas
was written
fue escrita,
to defend his reputation in the community.
fue escrita para defender su reputación en frente de la comunidad.
Okay, because he was known for killing people.
Porque él era conocido por matar gente.
So he's trying to protect it. I'm not going to kill you.
Él está diciendo, no te voy a matar.
Next slide. The Galatians is a book that most people who fight the loving commandments of our Father
Los Gálatas es un libro que mucha gente utilizan para pelear los mandamientos amorosos de nuestro amado Padre.
Okay, when you read Galatians, when the Christians read Galatians,
Cuando los cristianos leen Gálatas,
they use this book to say we don't have to follow the law.
utilizan este libro para decir no tenemos que seguir la ley.
Then why did God write down the Torah?
Entonces, ¿por qué Dios escribió la Torah?
So they use this book to say we're free to do whatever we want.
Ellos utilizan este libro para decir que estamos libres para hacer lo que queramos.
Well, then why do you tell a witch they got to leave their witchcraft?
¿Por qué le dices a una bruja que tiene que dejar sus brujerías?
Why do you tell a Muslim he's got to leave Islam?
¿Por qué le dices a un musulmán que tiene que dejar el Islam?
Why do you tell a Catholic you can't keep praying to an idol?
¿Por qué le dices a un católico que tiene que dejar de rezar a su ídolo?
If we can do whatever we want,
Si podemos hacer lo que querramos,
then why can't the Catholic pray to an idol?
entonces ¿por qué el católico no puede orar a un ídolo?
Next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Now we're going to look at some other things.
Ahora vamos a ver otras cosas.
And we're going to read a little bit of information from Chuck Swindoll.
Vamos a leer un poco de información de parte de Chuck Swindoll.
He is a very famous Christian apologetist.
Él es un cristiano muy famoso.
And he is very much a Galatian follower.
Y él es un seguidor de Gálatas.
But in all my study,
Pero en mi estudio,
he pretty much is a good summation of what most of the Christian church is like.
es un buen ejemplo para lo que la iglesia cristiana es.
Let me just see something. I want to see how I broke this down. Okay, we're going to go through the next 3 slides. We're going to read it and translate it into Spanish.
Vamos a leerlo y traducirlo.
And we're going to see what basically is the thought process out there.
Vamos a básicamente ver cuál es el proceso de pensamiento allá afuera.
In Chuck Swindoll's overview of Galatians,
En la visión general de Chuck Swindoll del libro de la carta de Gálatas,
he writes, unfortunately, the false teachings brought to the Galatian churches
desafortunadamente las enseñanzas falsas que fueron llevadas a las iglesias de los Gálatas
by the Judaizers
de parte de los judaizantes
have been extremely difficult to root out even today.
ha sido extremadamente difícil el arrancar hasta el día de hoy.
Next slide. We must walk a fine line.
Debemos caminar una línea muy fina.
On one hand,
En una mano,
we don't want to fall into legalism
no queremos caer en el legalismo
that the Galatians struggled with.
que los Gálatas estaban teniendo problemas.
But on the other hand,
Pero en la otra mano,
we cannot just live as if anything goes.
no podemos seguir viviendo como las cosas van. Como cualquier cosa. ¿Eh? Como que todo es permitido. Como todo es
You can do
permitido.
anything you want.
Como todo es permitido.
The Christian commitment to Christ
El cristiano que está comprometido a Cristo
is based on the free gift of grace through faith.
está basado en el obsequio gratis de la gracia
But as Paul articulated at the end of Galatians,
por medio de la fe, y como Paula dijo en el final de Gálatas,
it is also a result of in a life of walking by the Spirit.
también es el resultado de una vida de un camino en el Espíritu.
Next slide. Is the fruit of the Spirit evident in your life?
¿Es el fruto del Espíritu evidente en tu vida?
Or do you find yourself living according to the flesh?
¿O estás tú viviendo de acuerdo a la carne?
Or the compulsion of selfishness?
¿O las compulsiones de la selfishness?
Anybody selfishness?
Del egoísmo. Thank you.
Okay, let's go next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, let's take apart what basically the Christians are doing.
Comencemos primero con lo que básicamente los cristianos están haciendo.
Let us begin to answer our beardless Sunday ham eating, Christ Mass celebrating, tzitzit-less, free of the law, Gentile church going Mr. Swindoll.
Comencemos con responder a nuestro personaje sin barba, adorador del domingo, que come jamón navideño, que celebra la Navidad, que no tiene tzitzis, que es libre de la ley gentil, señor Swindoll.
Okay, so we see he doesn't have a beard.
Vemos que no tiene una barba.
So right there we know that he's not following God's laws.
Ahí sabemos que él no está siguiendo las leyes de Dios.
Because God said in Leviticus 19, don't shave your beard.
Porque Dios dice en Levíticos 19 que no te afeites la barba.
Because we're supposed to look different.
Porque debemos mirarnos diferentes.
We can see, well, not from this picture, from other pictures, he doesn't wear the tzitzit.
Vemos en otras fotografías que no viste tzitzis.
So God said for everybody to wear the tzitzit in Numbers 15, right?
Dios dice para en Números 15
Every man.
que los hombres deben vestir tzitzis.
Okay, that you can look at.
Para que lo puedas mirar.
He does service on Sundays, so that means he's a Catholic.
Él hace servicios los domingos, entonces es católico.
Because anybody who does service is some sort of Catholicism.
Porque cualquiera que hace servicio en domingo es de pertenece a una forma de catolicismo.
Because Constantine the Great and Pope Sylvester I changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday in the year 315 at the Council of Nicaea.
That's a lot.
Okay, so Pope Sylvester I
el Papa Silvestre I
and Constantine the Great.
y
Say it again for some reason.
la batería. No.
Okay, Constantine the Great,
Constantino el Grande,
in the year 315,
en el año 1315,
changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday at the Council of Nicaea.
cambió el de la adoración del sábado al domingo en el concilio de la Odisea en el año 315.
Okay, so next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
We have the Galatian churches.
Tenemos a las iglesias de Gálata.
There are no churches in Galatia
No hay iglesias en Gálatas
because they were messianic synagogues.
porque habían sinagogas mesiánicas.
Okay, they're not churches.
No son iglesias.
That's a new word.
Esa es una nueva palabra.
And then he says the Judaizers have been extremely difficult to root out, even today.
Y dice que los judaizantes han sido muy difíciles de arrancar incluso hasta el día de hoy.
Yes, Christmas and ham is very difficult to get rid of.
Sí, la Navidad y el comer jamón son algo muy difícil de deshacerse también.
Asher, what do you want to say? He's agreeing with me. Next slide. Now here's your key,
Aquí está tu clave,
because this shows the mental capacity of the one who's speaking.
porque esto muestra la capacidad mental del que está hablando.
We must walk a fine line on one hand.
Debemos caminar una línea muy fina en una mano.
We do not want to fall into legalism.
No queremos caer en el legalismo,
But on the other hand, we can't just live as anything goes.
pero en la otra mano no podemos vivir como que si no pasara nada.
So let me ask you a question, Mr. Swindoll.
Déjame a preguntarte algo, señor Swindle.
Who says what goes and what doesn't?
¿Quién dice qué es lo que se hace y lo que no se debe hacer?
Huh? Who says what is good and what is bad?
¿Quién determina qué es bueno y qué es malo?
Let's come on, because we're dealing with this. You want to study Galatians? We gotta lay some foundation first, everybody.
Tenemos que poner la fundación.
So on one hand, we don't want to be in legalism,
Por un lado no queremos ser legalistas,
but on the other hand, we don't want to do whatever we want to do.
pero por el otro lado tampoco queremos hacer lo que querramos.
But I thought we need to be a new creation.
Pero yo pensé que debíamos ser una nueva creación.
What does a new creation mean to God?
¿Qué significa una nueva creación para Dios?
Some people think going to prostitutes is okay.
Algunos piensan que ir a las prostitutas está bien.
How? They do whatever it is right in their own mind.
¿Cómo? Porque ellos piensan que está bien en su propia mente.
But God says in Torah, that's wrong.
Pero Dios dice en Torah, eso está mal.
And Yeshua says, even if you look at a woman in lust,
Y Yeshua dice, si ves a una mujer en deseo,
well, what is lust?
¿qué es el deseo? Codicia.
Where do I find the definition, Mr. Swindoll?
¿Dónde encuentro la definición de esta palabra, señor Swindle?
Oh,
Lujuria.
that
codicia.
would be the Torah.
Esa sería la Torah.
If we don't live by God's commandments,
Si no vives bajo los mandamientos de Dios,
listen up, everybody. You really need to understand the beginning.
necesitan realmente entender el comienzo.
As I do in every study, I lay a foundation first before we get into the study.
Como hago primero, debo poner una fundación antes de comenzar el estudio.
Because if you don't have this foundation,
Porque si no tienes esta fundación,
you will become like the Swindoll ministry.
te vas a convertir como el ministerio de Swindle.
This is how we got so many forms of Christianity.
Por esta razón es que tenemos muchas formas de cristianismo.
Because you don't know how to defend your position.
Porque no sabes cómo defender la posición.
You have to learn how to ask good questions.
Tú tienes que aprender a hacer buenas preguntas.
And most Gentile Christians, this book is the one they use to say you don't got to keep the Sabbath.
Y para la mayoría de cristianos, este libro de Gálatas es el que utilizan para decir que no debes seguir el sábado.
That you can get divorced.
Que puedes divorciarte.
Like Chris Pratt, the guy from one of the actors. He's a Christian.
Chris Pratt, uno de los actores, es cristiano.
he was married as a Christian.
Él estuvo casado como cristiano.
And now he got divorced.
Ahora él se divorció.
And now he's got engaged to Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter the other day.
Ahora está comprometido con la hija de Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Unless your wife fornicated, committed adultery,
A no ser que tu esposa haya fornicado o cometido adulterio,
you can never get married again.
tú no te puedes volver a casar otra vez.
If you are a believer in Yeshua the Messiah,
Si tú eres creyente en Yeshua el Mesías,
the rules are very clear.
las reglas son muy claras.
So here we're reading something that a very large ministry has put out.
Aquí estamos leyendo algo que un ministerio que es grande ha publicado.
He's saying we can't live like just the way we want.
Dice que no podemos vivir de la manera que querramos.
Well, then what are we supposed to live like?
Entonces, ¿cómo debemos vivir?
We got to follow the Torah.
Tenemos que seguir a Torah.
But we're not under law anymore.
Pero ya no estamos bajo la ley.
Oh, really?
De veras.
Don't worry, I'm getting to that, booby. But you guys weren't paying attention. Everybody pay. It's very important. It really is, guys. You want me to do this book? We're going to do things like we always do them.
Es muy importante.
And I look at your eyes, and pay close attention.
Pongan atención.
Here in the next slide,
La siguiente diapositiva.
Swindoll talks about a commitment to Christ
Swindoll habla de un compromiso con Dios, con
and
Cristo,
life of walking by the Spirit.
y en una vida caminando en el Espíritu.
Well, what does a commitment to Christ mean?
¿Qué significa el tener un compromiso con Dios?
You got to think of it as a
Cristo.
marriage.
Tienes que pensar como un matrimonio.
For 31 years, I've been committed to my wife.
Por 30 años he estado comprometido a mi esposa.
That means I can't have sex with another woman.
Significa que Rabino no puede tener relaciones sexuales
Come
con otra
on,
mujer.
it's been 31 years.
Son 31 años de matrimonio.
You're tired anyway.
Estás cansada de todas maneras.
Commitment means that you're one and one.
Este compromiso significa significa uno y uno.
So here, this is what the Christian doesn't understand.
Esto es lo que el cristiano no entiende.
When you're worshiping on Sunday,
Cuando estás adorando el domingo,
that means you're worshiping another God.
significa que estás adorando otro Dios.
Because the God of heaven spoke the fourth commandment himself from Har Sinai, from the mountain.
Porque el mismo Dios habló acerca del cuarto mandamiento desde el monte Har Sinai.
And his son said, I'm the Lord of the Shabbat.
Y su hijo dice, yo soy el Señor del Shabbat.
And the other question I got, what does walking by the Spirit mean biblically?
Y la otra pregunta que tengo es, ¿qué
What the hell does
significa
that
caminar
mean?
en el Espíritu
I'm
bíblicamente?
walking in the Spirit.
¿Qué significa yo estoy caminando en el Espíritu?
I don't even understand what that means.
Ni siquiera entiendo qué significa
As
eso.
a Jew, we don't walk in the Spirit.
Como judíos no caminamos en el Espíritu.
Unless we've left Judaism and we're trying to find ourselves in India.
A no ser que hayamos dejado el judaísmo y nos vayamos a India.
Walking in the Spirit means you're walking with the demons.
Caminar en el Espíritu significa que estás caminando con los demonios.
You know, because Torah is very specific on what we're to do.
Porque la Torah es muy específica en lo que tenemos que hacer.
And then the next slide,
Y en la siguiente
before we get
diapositiva,
into a bunch of scriptures.
antes de ir a las otras escrituras.
What does it mean to live by the flesh?
¿Qué significa vivir por la carne? De acuerdo a la carne.
If you don't have Torah, what does it mean to live by the flesh?
Si no tienes la Torah, entonces ¿qué significa de vivir de acuerdo a la ley, a la carne?
How will I know if I'm living by the flesh?
¿Cómo yo sé si estoy viviendo por la carne?
What would the Galatians be reading to know if they were living by the flesh?
¿Qué estarían los Gálatas leyendo para saber si están viviendo de acuerdo a la carne?
Since the New Testament's not written yet.
Porque el Nuevo Testamento aún no está escrito.
What did Yeshua read every Shabbat?
Que Yeshua leyó cada Shabbat,
The Torah and the prophets.
la Torah y los profetas.
So why don't you read what he's reading?
¿Por qué no lees lo que él ha leído?
If it was good enough for him, it's good enough for us.
Si era bueno para él, es bueno para
But
nosotros.
we're not under the law anymore.
Pero no estamos bajo la ley,
Really?
de veras.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente
Turn to
diapositiva.
Galatians 3. Now we're going to start getting deeper.
Vamos a Gálatas 3.
This section is called Free from the Law.
Esta sección se titula Libre de la Ley.
You liking it out there? This, when you die, you die. Galatians 3 verse 13. I'm going to be reading from the NASB because it sounds so much nicer.
Gálatas 3, versículo 13.
This is what many Gentiles, this verse is what they use to say we're not under the law.
Esto es lo que muchos gentiles utilizan para decir que ya no estamos bajo la ley.
Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree. They use that to say we're free from the law.
Dicen que están libres de la ley.
Because he freed us from the curse of the law.
Porque él nos liberó de la maldición de la ley.
No, in the law, you silly people.
No, no de la ley.
Somebody else could pay your price.
En la ley dice que alguien más puede pagar tu precio.
So here, the key, are we free from Jehovah's laws?
La clave aquí, ¿estamos libres de la ley de Jehová?
Is that what Yeshua, the Son of God, came to do?
¿Es eso lo que Yeshua, el Hijo de Dios, vino a hacer?
Maybe that's what he learned in Damascus.
Quizá eso lo aprendió en Damasco.
For 3 years.
Por 3 años.
Remember, he gets saved.
Recuerda que él se convirtió se salvó.
Goes through the mikvah.
Pasa por el mikvah.
Then comes back after 3 years.
Y regresa después de 3 años.
What was he doing for 3 years?
¿Qué estaba haciendo por 3 años?
I think by this verse, I think he was smoking some pot.
Por este verso yo creo que estaba fumándose algo chistoso.
Or as they would say in the Middle East, hashish.
O en el Medio Oriente dicen hashish.
Okay. Josh is over there going like this. Okay. Let's go to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Before answering this question,
antes de contestar a esta pregunta,
let's see if this verse
veamos si este versículo
contradicts other verses in the Tanakh
contradice otros versos en el Tanakh
and the Gospels.
Y en los evangelios.
Okay? Let's see if we're redeemed from the curse of the law.
Veamos si estamos redimidos de la maldición de la ley.
Okay? Wait, let me breathe on you. Okay? So let's see if we're free from the law. Let's see if that contradicts what the Torah, the Tanakh says.
Veamos si esto de estar libre de la ley contradice lo que la Torah dice.
And Yeshua's words.
Y las palabras de Yeshua.
Because remember, Sha'ul never meets Yeshua face to face. He just hears him.
Porque recuerda que Sha'ul no le vio a Yeshua, sino que lo escucha.
Now remember, this whole letter of the to the Galatians
recuerda que toda esta carta de los Gálatas
is trying to destroy people that are trying to tear down his ministry.
Está tratando de destruir a la gente que está tratando de destruir el ministerio.
The first thing that Sha'ul, the mistake he made,
el primer error que Sha'ul cometió
in this first letter,
en esta primera carta,
because that's why he writes in chapter 6. I'm writing it in my own handwriting.
Porque por eso escribe en el capítulo 6 que lo está escribiendo de su propio puño y letra.
It's not your ministry.
Es que no es tu ministerio.
It's God's ministry.
Es el ministerio de Dios.
Once you get that straight,
una vez que tú entiendas eso,
then you serve God and let God lead the sheep where they want to go.
Entonces deja que Dios sirva, guíe a las ovejas.
That's why even here,
por eso inclusive aquí,
when people are talking behind my back,
cuando hay gente que habla detrás de mí,
I'll bring it up in front of everybody.
Lo traigo enfrente de todos.
And I'll throw them under the bus.
Y los
with scripture.
Los expongo, los tiro bajo el bus, el autobús.
Because I don't. Once the sheep are told the truth,
porque una vez que se les ha dicho la verdad a las ovejas,
your blood is not on my hands.
Tu sangre ya no está en mis manos.
So Galatians 3 verse 13 says,
Gálatas 3, versículo 13
and this
dice,
is what the Christian church uses all the time,
y eso es lo que la iglesia cristiana usa todo el
and
tiempo,
all you got to do is type it into Google, free from the law, and this verse is going to come up.
y todo lo que tienes que hacer es escribir libre de la ley en Google.
Because that's what I did.
Esto es lo que va a salir.
I
Esto es
typed
lo que-
in Bing. I use Bing. I don't use Google because Google is demonic.
Utilizo Bing, no Google.
Okay, I typed in free from the law,
Escribí libre de la ley.
and Galatians 3 verse 13 came up.
Y Gálatas 3:13 es la primera respuesta.
Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone who hangs on the tree. I don't want to be under that curse anymore.
Yo no quiero estar bajo esa maldición.
Let's go next slide. Let's see if that goes out.
Veamos qué pasa en esta próxima.
Turn
tiempo.
to the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6.
Vamos al libro de Malaquías, capítulo 3, versículo 6.
Turning your phone, Felix, to Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6.
Vamos al libro de Malaquías, capítulo 3,
You
versículo
can use your
6.
phone on Tuesday nights. Open your phone. Open your phone to Malachi 3, verse 6.
Malaquías 3, versículo 6.
Everybody learning something here tonight?
¿Están aprendiendo algo esta noche?
Amen. So let's see if the law is a curse.
Veamos si la ley es una maldición.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 6.
Malaquías, capítulo 3, versículo 6.
Malachi chapter 3.
Malaquías, capítulo 3.
I'm just waiting for DC Comics. And waiting for Elizabeth to get back from the bathroom again. Is everybody warm enough? I can make it warmer in here if people are. Everybody's warm enough or you're not warm?
No, not warm. I mean,
Okay. Malachi 3, verse 6. But because I, Jehovah, the Eternal One, blessed be his glorious name, do not change, you sons of Yaakov will not be destroyed. So here it is, Jehovah the Father
Aquí Jehová el Padre
is saying, I don't change.
dice que Él no cambia.
So in Galatians 3, verse 13,
En Gálatas 3, versículos 13,
would the Father say my law is a curse?
¿diría el Padre que su ley es una maldición?
Or are we not understanding what Sha'ul wrote?
¿O será que no estamos entendiendo lo que Rab Shaul escribió?
Because if the law is a curse, then God has changed.
Porque si la ley es una maldición, entonces Dios ha cambiado.
So does Jehovah change anybody? Does the Father change?
¿Ha cambiado el Padre o
He's
cambia?
the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Él es
Amen?
el mismo ayer, hoy y siempre.
Okay? Now, when you think the law is a curse,
Cuando piensas que la ley es una maldición,
what happened to them in the Garden of Eden when they broke the law?
¿qué pasó con ellos en el jardín del Edén cuando rompieron la ley?
They got thrown out, right? They got kicked out of the house.
Los expulsaron, ¿verdad?
Now none of us get to go in until we're dead.
Ahora ninguno de nosotros puede
It's
entrar
all
allá hasta
Felix's
morir.
fault. So, would the law be a curse?
¿Será que la ley es una maldición?
No, the law tells you what is right.
No, la ley te dice lo que está correcto, lo que es correcto.
Okay? In Noah's time,
En el tiempo de Noah,
what happened when they don't follow God's commandments?
¿qué pasó cuando no siguieron los mandamientos de Dios?
Help me, I'm drowning. Somebody throw me a life preserver.
Ayúdame, me estoy ahogando, alguien que me tire una boya.
But during the garden
Pero durante el jardín
and during the flood,
y durante el diluvio,
was the law written on paper yet?
¿estaba la ley escrita en papel aún?
No.
No.
So is the law a curse?
¿Es la ley una maldición?
No, the law is not a curse. The law is what gets you closer to God and saves your life.
La ley no es una maldición, sino que te acerca a Dios y salva tu vida.
In Acts chapter 5,
En Hechos capítulo 5,
this is after Yeshua's death and resurrection and ascension to heaven.
esto es después de la muerte, resurrección y ascensión de Yeshua al cielo.
When they lied,
Cuando mintieron,
they died.
murieron.
In Acts chapter 5.
En Hechos capítulo 5.
So I guess they were cursed of the law, right?
Yo creo que eran maldecidos por la ley, ¿verdad?
So did Messiah redeem us from the law?
¿Será que el Mesías nos redimió de la ley?
Because if he did, then God changed.
Porque si lo hizo, entonces Dios ha cambiado.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Let's turn to Hebrews 13, verse 8.
Vámonos a Hebreos 13, versículo 8.
Hebrews 13, verse 8.
Hebreos 13, versículo 8.
Don't worry, we'll get to the book of Galatians. You need all this to know how to answer the questions. Hebrews 13 says Yeshua the Messiah is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Amen.
Did he follow the law?
Él siguió la ley.
Yeah, he followed the law.
Él
He
siguió
kept
la
the
ley.
Sabbath.
Él observó el sábado.
Now, aren't we supposed to be like Yeshua?
No somos supuestos nosotros de ser como Yeshua.
So he didn't redeem us from the law because we're supposed to be like Yeshua.
Entonces Él nos redimió de la ley porque debemos ser como Yeshua.
So Sha'ul can't be writing what you think he's writing in Galatians 3 verse 13.
Rab Shaul no puede estar escribiendo lo que piensas que ha escrito en Gálatas 3,
Right?
13.
Because if Yeshua is the same yesterday, today, and forever,
Porque si Yeshua es el mismo ayer, hoy y siempre,
does he think that Dominicans are too stupid to follow the law?
¿creen acaso que los dominicanos son
No, the
muy
Dominicans are thinking the
estúpidos para entender?
Haitians are too stupid.
No, los dominicanos
No.
piensan que los haitianos son
Nobody's too
no.
stupid. It's the Mexicans.
Nadie es muy estúpido, los dominicanos.
They're going to build us a wall.
Nos van a construir una pared.
Okay? So, if Yeshua is the same, the law is not a curse.
Si Yeshua es el mismo, entonces la ley no es una maldición.
Let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente.
Romans
diapositiva.
11.
Romanos 11.
Romans 11.
Romanos 11.
Romans 11, verse 17 and 18.
Romanos 11, versículos 17 y 18.
Sí. Romanos 11, verse 17 a 18. Romans 11, 17 and 18. Get a spoon or something. But some of the branches were broken off, and you, a wild olive, were grafted in among them, and have become equal sharers in the rich fruit of the olive tree. Then don't boast as if you were better than the branches. However, if you do boast, remember that you are not supporting the root is supporting you. Amen?
Amén.
Why were the branches broken off?
¿Por qué fueron las ramas desgajadas?
Disobedience.
Desobediencia.
Now here, let me give you a modern day parable.
Déjame te digo una parábola del tiempo moderno.
Stay with the story. In Syria, there's a lot of orphan children,
En Siria hay muchos niños huérfanos.
right? There's a lot of war
Hay
there.
muchos huérfanos.
Syria is mostly a Muslim country,
La mayoría de Siria es musulmán,
but there's a lot of children that don't have any parents.
pero hay muchos niños que no tienen padres.
Say one of those children comes to the United States,
Digamos que uno de esos niños viene a Estados Unidos
and you being a good Christian person,
y tú siendo un buen cristiano,
you want to adopt one of those Muslim children, maybe he's like 7 years old.
tú quieres adoptar uno de estos niños musulmanos que quizá tiene 7 años.
So at 7 years old, he's going to know a little bit about his Islamic faith.
A los 7 años vas a ver un poco de su ley islámica,
So, but you're a Christian.
pero tú eres cristiano.
Are you going to allow that child to celebrate Ramadan in your house?
¿Vas a permitir que ese niño celebre Ramadán en tu casa?
Yes or no?
¿Sí o no?
No? Are you going to allow that 7-year-old Muslim child to say, Allah Akbar?
¿Vas a permitir que tu niño, que ese niño diga Allah Akbar?
No, you're not going to allow him to say that in your house.
No le vas a permitir que él diga eso en su casa.
Because you believe in Christ Jesus.
Porque tú crees en Cristo Jesús.
But why aren't you going to let that kid say that in your house?
¿Por qué no le vas a dejar a ese niño que diga eso en tu casa?
Because haven't you been redeemed from the law?
Porque no has sido tú redimido de la ley.
you're supposed to be engrafted into the Hebrew olive tree.
Se supone que tú debes ser injertado en el árbol hebreo de olivo.
And in our house, we follow the Torah.
Y en nuestra casa seguimos la Torah.
So you're not free from the law.
No estás libre de la ley.
Going on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
John 14, verse 2, please.
Juan 14, versículo 2.
John 14, Yochanan 14, verse 2. Another 6 more minutes, everybody.
Juan 14, versículo 2.
Maybe a few more minutes past that. Denise is already packed out. John 14, verse 2.
Juan 14, versículo 2.
Yochanan 14, verse 2.
Yohanan 14, versículo 2.
In my Father's house are many places to live. If there weren't, I would have told you, because I'm going there to prepare a place for you. Do you think the Father
¿Crees que el Padre
is going to allow you to do whatever you want
va,
in His house?
va a permitirte que hagas lo que quieras en su casa?
But you've been redeemed from His curse of His law.
Pero has sido redimido de la maldición de la ley.
So you can go eat ham at the Father's house.
Entonces vas a poder entrar a comer jamón en la casa del Padre.
You can celebrate Christ's Mass at the Father's house.
Y puedes celebrar la Navidad en la casa del Padre.
Because you've been redeemed from the curse of the law.
Porque has sido redimido de la maldición de la ley.
If the Father says, I don't change in Malachi 3, verse 6,
Si el Padre dice que no cambie en Malaquías,
then Sha'ul can't be saying what you think he's saying in verse 13.
Rab Shaul no puede decir lo que piensas que dice en Gálatas 3:13.
Unless he's smoking some pot.
A no ser que esté fumándose algo marihuana.
Would Sha'ul contradict? Would Sha'ul contradict Yeshua's words here in John 14?
¿Será que Juan contradijo las palabras de Yeshua aquí en Juan 14?
Because Yeshua says, I'm going to prepare a place at my Father's house.
Porque dice, me voy a preparar un lugar en la casa de mi Padre.
And at the Father's house, we're going to be keeping the Sabbath.
Y en la casa del Padre vamos a seguir observando el Shabbat.
And that's found in Isaiah 66.
Y eso se encuentra en Isaías 66.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Let's go more to Yeshua's words in Matthew 5, verse 18.
Vámonos a Mateo 5, versículo 18.
Matthew 5, verse 18.
Mateo
Everybody enjoying our
5,
study tonight in
versículo
Galatians? Oh, we're not even into it yet. We're going to be crushing some people because you need all these
Necesitamos toda esta información
to show them that they're not understanding what they're reading.
para mostrarles que no están entendiendo lo que están leyendo.
Matthew 5, verse 18, Maritza?
Mateo 5,
Mateo, capítulo 5, 18.
Mateo 5, 18.
5:18. Mateo, capítulo 5, versículo 18. Matthew 5:18. Yes, indeed, I tell you that until heaven and earth pass away, not so much as yod or a stroke will pass from the Torah, not until everything that must happen has happened. Okay, so if we've been redeemed from the law,
Si hemos sido redimidos de la ley,
wouldn't Galatians 3 verse 13 be a contradiction to what Yeshua said in Matthew 5 verse 18?
sería que lo que se escribió en Gálatas 3:3 es una contradicción a lo que Yeshua dijo en Mateo 5:18.
Because Yeshua said, not until heaven and earth pass away will the law pass away.
Porque Yeshua dijo que no hasta que pase en el cielo y la tierra no se perderá ni la letra más pequeña de la ley.
Next slide. Luke 22.
Lucas 22.
Luke 22 verse 19. This is going to get people.
Lucas 22, versículo 19.
Oh, this is going to crush people.
Esto va a aplazar mucha gente.
Luke 22 versículo 19.
Lucas 22, versículo 19.
Luke 22, 22.
Okay.
Also taking the pizza matzah, he made the bracha, Brakatah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And everybody said, Amen. He broke it and gave it to them and said, this is my body, which is being given for you. Do this in memory of me. He's not just taking the matzah and the wine, everybody.
No está solamente tomando la matzah y el vino.
He's doing the whole Passover. Do the Passover, the Pesach, in remembrance of Yeshua.
Está celebrando la Pascua, el Pesach, y debemos celebrarlo en memoria de Yeshua.
But a lot of people just do the bread and wine.
Pero mucha gente solo hace el pan,
No.
el pan y el vino.
It's the end of his conversation.
Es el fin de su conversación.
Get into the whole conversation.
Y mira toda la conversación.
So do what?
¿Hacer qué?
The Pesach.
Celebrar la Pascua.
Can the
Pesach.
Gentile men who are uncircumcised do the Passover?
¿Puede un hombre gentil que no está circuncidado tomar parte de la Pascua
No.
o del Cordero?
Don't worry, we'll read that in a second.
No.
But it doesn't matter if you're circumcised or not.
Pero no significa no importa si eres circuncidado o no.
It does to Yeshua,
Si es para Yeshua.
because he says, I want you to do the Passover in remembrance of me.
Pero Yeshua dice, quiero que celebres la Pascua en memoria de mí.
So if you're not celebrating the Passover,
Si no estás celebrando la Pascua,
then you're in open disobedience now, aren't you?
ahora estás en desobediencia directa.
But we're redeemed from the curse of the law.
Pero estamos redimidos de la maldición de la ley.
I thought Yeshua said he's the same yesterday, today, forever.
Yo pensé que Yeshua dijo que era el mismo ayer, hoy y siempre.
Next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Exodus 12, verse 48 and 49.
Éxodo 12, versículos 48 y 49.
Jaque mate. Lot to think about tonight, don't you think?
Mucho de pensar.
Exodus 12, Éxodo 12, versículo 48, 49. Exodus 12, verse 48 and 49. Everybody? Couple more minutes, everybody. 5 more minutes. If a foreigner staying with you wants to observe Jehovah's Pesach, and all his males must be circumcised, that he may take part and observe it, he'll be like a citizen of the land, but no uncircumcised man is to eat it. The same teaching is to apply equally to the citizen and to the goyim living among you. Whoa. But we're redeemed from the curse of the law.
Pero estamos redimidos de la maldición de la ley.
Evidently not.
Evidentemente no.
Yeshua said, do this in memory of me.
Como Yeshua dijo que hagamos esto en memoria de él.
And you got to be circumcised to eat the Passover.
Tienes que ser circuncidado y comer de la Pascua.
And if you don't do this, you ain't getting into heaven.
Si no haces esto, no entrarás al cielo.
That's just a rule.
Esa es la regla.
And you know what? In verse 49,
En el versículo 49
it said the same teaching is to apply equally to the Jew and the Gentile.
dice que la misma enseñanza, la misma ley se aplicará al nativo como al extranjero.
Next slide. I think I got 2 more scriptures.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Yep, 2 more. 2 more slides. Turn to 2 Peter.
Veamos a la segunda de Pedro, segunda carta de Pedro.
2 Kepha.
Segunda carta de Pedro.
2 Kepha chapter 3.
Segunda carta de Pedro, capítulo 3.
5 more minutes, everybody. 2 Kepha chapter 3, verse 15 and 16.
Segunda carta de Pedro, capítulo 3, versículo 15 al 16.
Then I'll take questions. Well, we'll close in prayer, then we'll take questions. And those that have to leave will have to leave. But we'll take questions. I'm sure somebody might have some questions or comments. 2 Kepha chapter 3, verse 15 and 16. And think of our Lord's patience as deliverance, just as our dear brother Sha'ul also wrote you. Following the wisdom God gave him, indeed he speaks about these things in all his letters. They contain some things that are hard to understand, things which the uninstructed and unstable distort to their own destruction, as they do the other scriptures. Wow. Kepha just threw Paul under the bus.
Kefa lanzó al Rav Shaul bajo el autobús.
Oh, and I'm going with Kefa. I'm going with Kefa because Kefa walked with Yeshua.
Kefa caminó con Yeshua.
Okay? Okay? And he's saying, these people, we're redeemed from the law.
Esta gente dice, somos redimidos de la ley.
That means they're uninstructed.
Y significa que son ignorantes.
And what does Kefa say about those uninstructed people?
¿Y qué dice Kefa acerca de estos ignorantes?
They're going to hell
Que se van al infierno.
because they're going to their own destruction.
Porque se van a su propia destrucción.
And final scripture for tonight, next slide is our last slide for
Última
tonight.
escritura de esta noche.
John 14, verse 15 and 16, Yochanan 14.
Juan 14, versículo 15 y 16.
Our final nail in the coffin before we start to study total Galatians next week. You need this foundation, everybody.
Necesitamos este fundamento antes de comenzar el estudio de Gálatas.
Look, Martin turned off the camera. John 14, verse 15 and 16. If you love me, you will keep my commandments. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another comforting counselor like me, the Spirit of truth, the Ruach HaKodesh, to be with you forever. If you love Yeshua,
Si tú amas a Yeshua,
you will keep his commandments.
observarás sus mandamientos.
And we're not redeemed from the commandments.
Y no somos redimidos de los mandamientos.
We're redeemed from sin
Fuimos redimidos del pecado.
when you accept Yeshua as Messiah.
Cuando aceptamos a Yeshua como nuestro Mesías.
You become a new creation, everybody.
Te conviertes en una nueva creación.
Now, what did Yeshua say?
¿Qué dijo Yeshua?
Now go sin no more.
Ahora ve y no peques más.
When he caught the woman in adultery,
Cuando encontraron a la mujer en adulterio,
they didn't play by the rules.
ellos no siguieron la ley, el libro de reglas.
They should have stoned her to death if the man was there.
Debieron de haberla apedreado si el hombre estaba ahí.
Matthew 5:18 says, not one jot or tittle will be lost from the law until heaven and earth pass away.
En Mateo 15 dice que nada se perderá de la ley hasta que el cielo y la tierra pasen.
And Isaiah 66, Yeshayahu 66 says, what are we doing in heaven?
En Isaías 66 dice que vamos a hacer en el cielo.
We're keeping the Shabbat
Estaremos observando Shabbat
in the new heaven and the new earth.
en el nuevo cielo y la nueva tierra.
So I guess we have not been redeemed from the law.
Yo creo que aún no hemos sido redimidos de la ley.
So it must be, let's go back to Galatians 3,
Vamos de vuelta a Gálatas 3,
verse 13.
versículo 13.
Galatians 3, verse 13, where we started.
Gálatas 3, versículo 13.
Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is anyone who hangs on a tree. The law is not a curse, everybody.
La ley no es una maldición.
Yeshua became a curse because he took the sins of the world upon him.
Yeshua se convirtió en maldición porque tomó los pecados del mundo sobre él.
And you would know that if you read Isaiah 53.
Y tú vas a saber o sabrías eso si leyeras Isaías 53.
Okay? Any questions or comments in the room?
Preguntas o comentarios en la habitación.
No questions or comments?
No preguntas o comentarios.
Elizabeth, I knew there had to be a comment from somebody from the Dominican Republic.
Okay, so I guess like I need a better understanding of what is the curse of the law.
We'll get
Because
into that.
to my understanding, when you obey the law, you get blessings. But what about if you break it? What you get in return is curses. Maybe he's referring to that, to those people that like.
No,
break
he's
the law.
he's in verse 13. He's referring to the law of replacement.
En el versículo 13, Yeshua, no, se está refiriendo a la ley de reemplazo.
That if you were supposed to die,
Que si tú eras supuesto a morir,
somebody else could pay your price,
alguien más puede pagar tu precio, redimirte.
and then he became a curse for us, so
Por
that
eso-
we didn't have to die.
Por eso él se convirtió en maldición por nosotros para que no moramos.
But don't worry, we'll be getting into the whole letter of Galatians.
Pero no te preocupes que vamos a leer todo en la carta de Gálatas.
Okay, any questions on WebEx
Preguntas en web,
or comments?
comentarios.
All right, let's just close in prayer.
Cerremos en oración.
Thank you, Lord, for your blessings today. Thank you, Lord, for there are no contradictions in your word. May it be a lamp unto our feet that we would walk in your footsteps, Yeshua. In your name, everybody said, Amen.
Shalom. This is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman. I would personally like to thank you for tuning in to the Remnant's Call each and every week. You can listen to the full message on our website, bethgoyim.org. If you have drawn closer to the King of Kings, learned more about Him today, we are blessed. If you are blessed by these messages, please consider a donation to our ministry. You can go to our website, bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. And click on the donate button. You do not have to have a PayPal account to donate. All you need is a debit card. Once again, thank you very much for listening to The Remnant's Call.
If you have not taken your first steps to be born again, just ask God's help. Remember, it's His loving grace that has come to find you. No one is worthy or able to reach God, but God can reach us, and He's reaching out to you now. Just open your heart and let Him in. His arms are open, and the blessing of salvation and eternal life are waiting for you. Don't let it wait any longer.
Ya Adonai, panavoleka, vikuneka, Yisa Adonai, panavoleka, vayasem lecha, shalom. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift His face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious unto you and give you His shalom.
Shalom. My name is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman, and I invite you to come to visit our congregation. If you are in the tri-state area, come out and visit with us on Shabbat. We are a congregation of Jews and Gentiles, living as one in the Messiah Yeshua. Bgmc is a place of true worship. The focus never wanders from the Hebraic roots of our faith. Beth Goyim is rooted in the Word of God from Bereshit through to the book of Revelation. Messiah's strong words against man-made tradition are carefully recorded in Matthew 7. That is the reason we only follow the straight-up instructions found in Scripture, truly the way, the truth, and the life. If you're looking for a deeper walk with Adonai, come out for our Tuesday evening Bible study called Messianic Torah Time. Come, spend the day with us on any Shabbat. We start at 11 a.m. with the sound of the ancient Hebrew shofar. Next, we offer our King praise and worship in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. After worship, we review the headlines in the previous week's news from around the globe, especially news from the Holy Land, Israel. We don't just list the news headlines as current events, but we comb through the scriptures, searching for clues to understand what they mean and then to help pinpoint prophetically our current position on Adonai's clock. After digesting all that modern information, we leave the world behind as we journey with our Adonai deep into His eternal Word, not with just one or two scriptures, but usually 7 or more scriptures. The spiritual nourishment and the richness of His kingdom become accessible to the ones who share this special time and seek them out. The day does not end there. Because Shabbat is so special to Him, there is always so much more that our King desires to share. So instead of separating and leaving, we stay together as a family for potluck lunch and an afternoon study of our King's Word. We close the Shabbat together with the reading of the new week's parashah. That's the Torah portion. Even after those blessings, many of us just can't get enough. So the members bring prepared homemade foods to share while we all enjoy an uplifting movie together. If all that information is not quite enough, you can check out our website where you will find over 200 video teachings and biblical holy day studies. Under Messianic Torah Time, the Hebrew Roots button, you'll discover free studies on many, many different topics, including PowerPoint slide presentations. If Beth Goyim sounds like a place you'd love to visit, but you live outside the tri-state area, there is still a way to connect with us. We stream live on the internet on Tuesday, Thursday, and Shabbat. The website is www.bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. Our phone number is 973-338-7800 or 978-2-YESHUA. That's 978, the number 2, Yeshua. Shalom.